Ladies and gentlemen, we have been working all day, and now it is after work. I'm Joe. Welcome back to That Nintendo Show. If I sound a little nasally, I'm a little congested. Yeah, I guess I got sick again in like the last month or so. I don't know what's happening to my body. I might be dead next week. I might be dying, guys. So this is the last episode of That Nintendo Show. I apologize. I love every single one of you guys. Thank you for everything. I love you guys. Finito. Oh, I died. On stream. And as you know, or if you don't know, now you know, this is your weekly Nintendo news podcast. We give it to you live on twitch.tv/JoAfterWork, normally at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, because we up on that East Coast love. Every Friday night on Twitch. And then next day rolls over to YouTube as the full video. You also get it in an audio format as well on iTunes and SoundCloud. If you guys have any other podcast preferences, please let me know. Hit me up in the Discords. If you do, !Discord should be there. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's in the description. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, just tap that thumbnail that you got there. It's somewhere there. It is somewhere there. I promise you. I will put it there. Okay? Just like I do with all the notes and the links and stuff like that you guys get for the show where I grab my news from. Without further ado, guys, you know what time it is. Let's go down that pipeline. Woo! We got it on time this time. We got it on point. Got it on point. Got it on point. And what's going down the pipeline? We got the capture card working again. We got it working again. Back to its normal shenanigans where I gotta restart things. But that's besides the point. Guys, we're gonna jump into probably the biggest news topic of this week, outside of Rockstar making a game for the Switch since the Wii. Nintendo and Western Digital partnering up. This was last week news that I had missed, mainly because I just wanted to focus on the Nindy Showcase stuff. Go over all those games, a lot of awesome games coming out. If you missed that, check out last week's episode. It's up on the YouTubes and the stuffs. But yeah, why is the cops? The cops. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but the cops are just outside the building. My apologies. They found out we're doing a show. Anyway, Nintendo and Western Digital bring branded SD cards to the Nintendo Switch, and as you can see here, if you're watching and not listening, they're coming out with a SanDisk 64 gigabyte and 128 gigabyte. They've got the main thing is that it's just the Nintendo Switch brand on the packaging. There's nothing special about these SD cards. As far as I know, I've been looking for prices, and I cannot find a price on these. So if somebody has found one and wants to link it in the chat or just let us know, that's great. But I have not seen a price yet. The article, I think, says no price has been announced. But 64 gigabyte, 128. I have a 128 in my Switch right now. And with the games coming out, I believe I'm teetering past the halfway point at this point with how many games I've downloaded. And granted, a lot of those... Wow, what is happening out there? The Nintendo cops are after Joe. Seriously, Jero Wizard, what is happening? Miyamoto, I'm sorry. Mr. Nintendo, I am sorry. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. I didn't do it. I didn't eat Kirby's cake, okay? Mario was there. You saw Luigi. Luigi was looking mad sus. Alright? I'm just saying. You see how he be looking at Peach sometimes. As a matter of fact, we all know Bowser's hitting up Peach. Let's be honest. Every time she's always in his castle. Like, can we be real? Bowser and Peach, they're two peas in a pod. Let's just be honest. There ain't no Mario in this picture. Anyway, that's besides the point. I digress. Back to these SD cards. 64 gig, 128. Yeah, I with some of the third parties hopping on board with the Nintendo Switch, and I'm gonna take these headphones off. Sorry, I got distracted by the and that sound at the same time. But with third parties now starting to embrace the Switch a little bit more, specifically with 2K and their NBA 2K file sizes, and who knows what's going to happen with WWE 2K18. the upcoming Resident Evil Revelations package with Revelations 1 and 2, their file sizes getting way bigger. Not as condensed as, let's say, Mario Rabbids and ARMS, Splatoon 2, where those file sizes are very small for games that are actually pretty vast in a lot of stuff that they have. Breath of the Wild, 13 gigabytes, probably the largest size for a Nintendo title so far on the Switch itself. And even then, the vast amount of content there, I can only imagine what Skyrim is going to bring us in November. If I don't even remember if there's a release date for that game yet, but I think they're still aiming for holiday 2017. But now there's this whole thing. This is all coming together, and this is probably going to be a little bit of a rant here. The 2K18 packaging, and there's going to be certain packaging going forward, will require a micro SD card to be able to fully experience the content of the game because of these file sizes that you're able to put on the game cartridges. Now, there's another article that I just want to pop up real quick and give credit to. I can't even read his name on here. Darin Calvert did a really awesome article on Nintendo Life about this, exploring the Switch tax and why Nintendo was right to use game cards. It's a great article. I highly suggest you guys reading it. I will leave it in the link in the description of the YouTube video and over on SoundCloud and iTunes. But it goes into this whole thing of, all right, the Switch itself, the onboard memory is 32 gigabytes. Really small if you're in nowadays, when you're selling a product that relies on a lot of digital content, online downloads, firmware updates, and all these things, that they're going to take up space over time. And it's crazy to me that a game that you are buying in a retail store isn't the full game and requires you to continue to have the micro SD, which is another accessory. Now, I will defend that, and not defend it, but I will give you my side of that, because right now I'm speaking for just your casual gamer who might not have all these add-ons to the Switch, just base Switch, buying physical games because they don't have enough space on there, or they just enjoy buying physical media, still needing space outside of the internal memory to download, to get the full game experience. There's going to be pieces missing in 2K18 because of the file size of that game. So for those of you who might not know, Nintendo does sell to the publishers cartridges at different sizes. So you have a 4 gig cart, an 8 gig cart, a 16 gig cart, and a 32 gig cart. In this case, I'm assuming if you got to use a micro SD card to download the rest of the content of NBA 2K18, they're probably using a 32 gigabyte file cartridge for the game, and then whatever other additional modes that are supposed to be built into the game, you're going to need your internet access. You're going to need to be able to download the game. You're going to need a micro SD card. Not even the internal storage will store this game. It specifically states on the box that a micro SD card is required for this game. That's kind of crazy. Now, one could say that Nintendo can easily resolve this issue by creating a 64 gigabyte card if that meets the card file, the file size of this game. I believe in this article they mentioned the file size for the Xbox One version of the game, which is like 45 gigabytes, which is nuts. for a game which Nintendo themselves, they somehow compress all these awesome games into these crazy file sizes. I have no idea how they pull it off with certain ones. Some of them I can understand, like a Splatoon or ARMS I understand, but even as small of a file size as they are, I'm like, really, it's that small? You have games that are coming out, Resident Evil Revelations 2. You've got a 13 gig another 13 gig file game, and a 26 gigabyte, I believe, for Revelations 2, which we're getting up there, guys. We're getting up there. We're gonna need bigger micro SD cards for starters, but for the people that want to play these games, and specifically, like, let's talk about the digital games too. I know I'm going back and forth all around with talking about this subject, but there's so many different points going on. And I'll get back to the 64 gigabyte thing in a moment. There's just so many things, like the digital games that are coming out are mostly indie titles for the most part, and they are smaller sizes. But then when you go into these games that are coming out, and some of them are digital only, for instance Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil Revelations 2, that is a digital only game. Even when you buy the physical copy of Revelations for $40, that second game is a download code that's a file size that's gonna not even fit on the internal storage of the Switch. So that's another game that you're going to need a micro SD card for if you really want to play that game on the Switch, or you can play it on the 52 other million systems those games have been on at this point. But that's besides the point. Yes, they can resolve this by creating a 64 gigabyte card, but at the same time, that comes at an increased cost to buying those cartridges from Nintendo, which Nintendo is clearly, they're going to make the higher profit because that is their form of physical media that they are selling to the publisher, which then, the publisher, the dev, whoever is buying these, buying the cartridge. I'm not familiar with the process there. I imagine it'd be the publisher, since they're the one putting out the game for the developer. So they'll buy it for, let's say, I don't know the prices specifically. I know he had mentioned some prices in here, but they couldn't fully confirm it. Like $20 for an 8 gig cartridge is the number that's been flying around. So if that's a $20 cartridge, and you're putting a game that has a file size of just under 8 gigabytes, you're probably going to end up selling your game for either $29.99 or $39.99 to make up for the profit of shipping, bringing it to retail. Then the retail gets their cut of it as well. So not only, so there's so many different factors going into how these games are being priced out at. And some people are getting flack for it. I mean, we saw it with Rime. Rime will be $39.99 as a physical copy, but they ended up changing their digital price because so many people complained to $29.99, because that's the price over on when it's going to come out on PS4 and when it's going to come out on Xbox. So people were like, all right, well, I want to buy it digital, but why am I paying retail a physical retail price if I'm buying it digitally? And they got called Tequila Works, I think is the dev. They got caught on that, and we're like, okay, we'll change it. And they're adding a CD to kind of compensate for the fact that they have to charge this much. So in a way, it's like, do the developers eat a part of their cost just to make a game for the Switch? Maybe this is why people have been maybe companies have been hesitant to bring out games to the Switch, and why Capcom themselves in particular are bringing out these older games to the Switch, because it's cheaper to make those games and sell them at not so much a loss, but a smaller, there's a smaller cut there that they're making, as opposed to if they just brought a brand new game over to the Switch. I mean, Super Street Fighter 2, the final challengers earlier this year was $40, and that is like, wow, that is a really, really expensive game for that game. But maybe that was part of why the game was costing so much, was because of the price that they had to pay for all those cartridges at that specific file size that they were purchasing at. There's been Puyo Puyo Tetris was another one. They sold it for $29.99 digitally, and then $39.99 physically. And with the physical copy, they had like these keychains on there, which they were like, oh hey, yeah, we're gonna add these little things. So that's sort of been what people have been doing with these games. But it still boggles my mind that that, granted, most people have internet nowadays. It's not as much of an issue, but the fact that you're not just buying a Switch at this point now. It's no longer you buy a Switch and you're good to go. No, your odds are going to have to buy a micro SD card. And I'm talking again, not for the hardcore, not for the people like me who bought a micro SD card day one, knowing something like this might happen down the road. Granted, you guys know I'm mostly digital. I buy my physical cartridges for very special occasions, collector's editions, the occasional like, oh, I really want this as a physical media piece. But man, like that's kind of crazy. So you got your $300 Switch, and then on top of that, yes, micro SD cards can be cheap here and there, but you also got to remember there's certain micro SD cards that are like, and they might not work as well as some of the others. They're loading off of that SD card as opposed to the Switch internally. So load times might differ, not so much, but and again, the casual might not know that, but there's just all these little things here and there that will go into it. Now, SanDisk just announced that they came out with like a 400 gigabyte micro SD card, and the thing is $250. So let me get this straight. If you max out on your SD card and you need more space, you can either buy another micro SD card at a smaller size to, continue buying games and use that and switch out micro SD cards, or if you just want to make things as simple as possible and not have to worry about memory size, you buy that 400 gigabyte micro SD card for $250, making your Nintendo Switch a 550 console now, just to make sure that you don't run out of space. That's a little crazy. That is a little crazy. Now, again, you can go and get these things physical, and you might be paying the $10 extra more depending on what game it is and if it's out on another console. Odds are, if you're getting the physical copy of that game that's out on another console, you're paying extra $10 for that game when you can pick it up elsewhere. And again, this is my back and forth love and hate relationship with Nintendo. You guys know this. I love them. But then there's moments like these where I'm like, come on, guys. And so if they were to like go, and this is me bouncing back to that 64 gigabyte card, if they were to make that increases the cost of the game. So we're talking now a game that is no longer the highest price point being a $59.99 title. If they were to make that, either publishers are eating at a cost, or they're going to push it back to the consumer and say, hey, this is going to be this much more because of the file size. That's a problem. And I like to hear from you guys. Sound off in the chat. If you guys are watching this in the playback, if you guys are listening to this somewhere, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Throw them all over in Discord. Throw them here in the chat right now on Twitch. Let me know in the comments in YouTube. I need to hear you guys. I know I'm not alone on this, but maybe I'm being too nice about the situation. And going back to the Switch card sizes, the cartridges, so it's 1 gigabyte, 2 gigabyte, 4 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte, and 32 gigabyte. And yeah, going back to that NBA 2K18, 45 gigabytes on the Xbox One version alone. I'm pulling this from this Nintendo Life article. So odds are, if we've already met capacity with that 32 gigabyte cartridge, we're probably teetering on another 10 gigs to 10 to 15 gigs of data that the Switch that you would need to download from wherever Switch is going to pull the data from. Once you install you put the cartridge in the game, you probably it'll probably pop up with the option to download that game. L1 says, this is one reason why I will only buy Nintendo exclusives on the Switch. If it's on other consoles, I'll buy them for the other consoles, which is a great point to bring up. And I think outside of anyone that's Nintendo hardcore that only owns Nintendo consoles, that is the perfect option to go with. And I can't fault anyone. You can't fault anyone for that. There's so there's so many different options that you can go to nowadays, and not most people most people that own a console normally own more than one. So let's say there's a PS4 and a Switch, or an Xbox One and a Switch, or even a PC and a Switch. If someone's gonna go and buy the physical version of NBA 2K18 for PS4 or Xbox One, all the media is gonna be on that Blu-ray disc, and then they're good to go. You can't fault them for that. That's sort of a one of the downsides for sure. I would say a bit of a big downside for people, knowing that, hey, I bought this. Parent buys a Switch for their kid, and they want to play, Resident Evil Revelations or something like that, and they try to download it, and they realize, oh, this doesn't fit on this card. So they not only did they just spend the $20 to $22 with your tax included to pick up this game, now they got to go out and buy a micro SD card on top of that, which they probably weren't told about when they bought the Switch. So it's like, that's more money on top of that, and it doesn't just become a $300 console anymore. I mean, we're even at the point now that Sony and Xbox One have updated their consoles to start off at 1 terabyte. I'm not telling Nintendo, hey, start off at 1 terabyte, although if we're living in a digital age, let's be honest, at least a 500 gigabyte hard drive of some sort. Well, they don't have hard drives in there. I think it's flash in there. So what's the iPhones up to now? The highest is like 256 now. Let's throw in a 256 in there to starters. That is a great buffer for people, It's going to up the cost of the Switch, I'd imagine, or they can still sell it at 300 at some and still make their profit, because we know they're making a profit at the $300 mark of the Switch, using previous gen parts in the console itself. If it's other consoles, I'll buy them for other consoles. I 100% am with you, L1, on that one. Hunter says, if I had a Switch, I'll mod it to connect to an external hard drive. Yo. Hey, that's a smart option. Why not do this? Buy a micro SD card and write the name of the game save. 1 SD card per game. Oh, man, that's brutal. Oof, that's brutal. But yeah, I have a 128 gigabyte card on there. We can actually switch over. Because I'm curious myself what my file size is here. We're gonna go into the land of Joe right now. We've switched over to my Switch. We did a boom. So yeah, my micro SD card has 94 gigs of free space left. It's sort of teetering at the... Sorry, I bought... My apologies, guys. I think I have a 200 gigabyte micro SD card in there. I bought some weird size one. I'm pretty sure it's a 200 gig, because if I'm at the halfway point and that's 94 gigs, yeah, my apologies. And then you can see right there, my free space on the system memory is 24.8 gigs. I think your starting is like 25.6 or something like that. But, yeah. Let's switch back over to the main screen here. Boom. Fooya. All right, but that's my rant. I'd love to hear from you guys. We're gonna move on to happier times from here on out. Happy times. We're all about happy times. I got that rant out, and let's move on. Continuing through the pipeline is an awesome fan-made sequel. This one also coming by way of Nintendo Life as well. SNES classic Zombie Ate My Neighbors gets a fan-made sequel, which is dope. So check this out. Let's read into it, and then we'll talk a little bit about this, because this is a game I didn't think had a following. I thought I was like one of the few people that remember this game on the SNES. So if you're a big fan of LucasArts classic Zombie Ate My Neighbors, there's a good chance you've done and seen it all, alone or with a friend. On plenty of occasions, the game is a true classic that somehow never fails to entertain even 24 years later. Fact. If, like many others, you never acknowledge Ghoul Patrol as a de facto sequel to the first game, this news is for you. Zombie Ate My Neighbors, the sequel, or ZAM, the sequel for short, was released last week. Is a 4-person effort to remake every level of the game into something new. Furthermore, it includes custom sprites and backgrounds, a much welcomed reverse item cycling, but in combination, and even a new friendly skull NPC that shouts out hints and tips mid-level. An impressive effort that you can check out with gameplay below, which is awesome. So I'll leave these in the descriptions of the breakouts. But man, Zombies Ate My Neighbors, dude. I remember this game on the Super Nintendo. I was terrible at it. I remember there being at least over 50 levels. Like, there was a lot of levels in this game, and I watched my brother go ham on this game growing up. But I always loved the titles that would pop up, because every title of each level was like a reference to some a movie or some culture reference, which was great. Like I remember one stage specifically that was called Dances with Wolves. This had to have been like the 40s at this point, but like everyone, there were wolves in there. But it was, they were real. It was real tongue in cheek with the game. I liked it. And you had like the weapons, like the water gun, what you start off with, or like the weed whacker, or you had the Jason looking dude with the chainsaw. The game, or the giant babies. The giant babies were freaky. Like that was nuts. It was like Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, but in 16-bit format. You think about it now, that's actually pretty impressive that they pulled that off. Oh man. Whew. But yeah, that is SNES Classic. Sorry, I was reading back because we got some feedback from the last topic here. I'm just gonna go back real quick and read that. Twin World says 200 is an odd size. Yeah, I heard 400 is coming out. Yeah, it's available for pre-order on SanDisk's website, which I didn't know that SanDisk was actually Western Digital, which that makes me feel better about that. I don't know. I really like Western Digital products. That's why. I have a 64 gigabyte in mine. Nice. I feel like that's a good one if you're buying physical and then get like some of the indie titles underneath there, because those titles aren't really big. When you forget the invisible zero in long multiplication, Jerry Wizard doing homework during the show. Do your homework. Up next, so we missed this last week. Again, I wanted to really just focus on the indie showcase from last Wednesday, but Miiverse had shut down, or is going to shut down in November. Sorry, we've got a couple months before it finally shuts down for good on the 3DS and the Wii U. But apparently, this is we're doing a lot of Nintendo Live. Sorry. But Nintendo Live, they pull in the good stuff. I like their website. Miiverse could live forever thanks to a fearless web developer. It never ends. It just keeps going and going and going. Alright, so here we go. They say you don't know what you got till it's gone. Alas, Miiverse, you were too good for this cruel world. As we reported, the plug will finally be pulled on Miiverse in November. While Nintendo is giving Miiverse users the options of downloading their own personal posts for posterity, the rest of those moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain. Jeez, that's depressive. Thankfully, a web developer has taken drastic action and written a program that will archive all the images ever posted on Miiverse, especially the text too. Let's follow his journey so far. Jeez, and there's just a bunch of tweets. I have over 30,000 Splatoon drawings archived. Jeez, and this is Drastic Action Essay is his Twitter handle. Drastic Action Essay. That's insane. A subset of images I got. Oh my gosh, this is gold. So you guys don't know Miiverse, like there's games that can implement Miiverse things in them, like you can annotate like things that you had done in a certain specific area. Mario Maker is probably the easiest one that I know right off the top of my head. And you can you tap on the thing, and sometimes people will write something helpful, and sometimes it'll just mostly be trolly stuff. But then you also got really awesome drawings out of a lot of these things and a lot of crazy cringeworthy memes happening. I know Jose Otero would always see something posted when he walked into the lobby of Splatoon, and he would post it up on Twitter, and it was usually something really, really hilarious. Uh, like, but some of this stuff, like a lot of this art is really dope, but then some of it's like crazy hilarious. Oh my goodness. But yeah, Miiverse, I guess, will live on forever, and this guy's saving every single document ever created. I hope he has enough memory for that. He might need another micro SD card. Ooh, burn! Anyway, moving on. Rockstar Games announced LA Noire coming out remastered edition for multiple consoles. But more importantly, this is a Nintendo show, so we are going to just read the one for Nintendo Switch. LA Noire for Nintendo Switch features the complete original game and all additional downloadable content with specific enhancements, including a Joy-Con mode with gyroscopic gesture-based controls, HD rumble, and new wide over-the-shoulder camera angles, plus contextual touchscreen controls for portable detective work. So that's pretty cool. So in handheld mode, you'll be able to use the touchscreen to kind of search around a little bit more and find certain things when you're investigating. I actually never got to play this game, and I think I got it off a PS Plus deal at some point. I know it's somewhere on my PS3 hard drive for sure. Like, I definitely had the game, and I don't know why I never got to it. It's a Rockstar game. I'm gonna have to play this when it actually comes out on the Switch. This game came out in, like, 2011, 2012-ish. I want to say 2011. Could be wrong. But the whole big thing about the game was every single facial expression that was done, all the mocap was done in real time. So, like, I guess not real time, but they took a lot of their facial expressions and put them into the game, and the way they did it, like, so that way you can kind of, like, the whole big thing was you had to tell who was lying and who was telling the truth based on facial expressions. So they were really, really, really focused on that. And I guess for back in the day, it was only 6 years ago, Joe. Some of the facial expressions looked a little bit off, and people say the ending was meh. But I would like to play this game, so I'm gonna have to pick this up when it actually comes out and play it on my Switch. Maybe we'll do a full playthrough, maybe not. I don't know, but it will definitely be a Nintendo Spotlight, which we have a lot of going. 2011, just like Skyrim, only 6 years old. 6-year-old games play on Yo, savage. L1. Oh man. Hey, at least that's not entirely true. Resident Evil 2, 2015, right? 2015? Yeah, that's when I started my channel. I played that on my channel. Yep. Yeah, 2015. We're 2 years behind, baby. We're 2 years behind. Oh my goodness. What's even more dope, though, is they have a VR version for this game. And I'm kind of tight that it's not going to be a PSVR version. It's only, as far as I'm reading, if I'm reading this article correctly, it was only for HTC Vive. Which, I get it. You're really immersing yourself if you're playing this on HTC Vive, because you need a whole damn room to play this game, literally, if you're going to do that. But those HTC Vive peeps out there, you're getting a lot of love in that game for sure. Moving on to some other games coming out for Nintendo Switch. Not the eShop drop, but some future titles. Nicalis teases VVVVV and more for Nintendo Switch. So they posted up a thing during PAX of video games that are coming out to the Switch, and they kind of blurred out two in particular over here. They were like, "Oh yeah, we still got a lot of work left. We're not done yet, so that's kind of neat." But VVVVV was like an evil game. I remember that being on the Vita and PS4. I'd imagine it might be on the Xbox One, but I again can't confirm nor deny that, considering I haven't turned on my Xbox since January. Oh man, having plowed through the NeoGAF thread, these pixelated mysteries would appear to be Terry Kovna's excellent retro style platformer VVVVV, which of course Nicalis has already released on the 3DS eShop. Next up appears to be Code of Princess Studio Zaizensen, which Atlas published on the 3DS back in 2012. It also seems like 1001 Spikes is getting a Switch port too, but we already kind of knew that. I'm quoting what the article says. All three games would be a welcome addition to the Switch eShop library. Which would you like to see? Bam! Oh, man. Throat killing me. Magia, what's going on? I hear everyone say that, to be honest. Rip Xbone. Oh, the last time I turned on my Xbone. Oh man. I leave that content to Seek. I always watch his streams if I want to know anything Xbox related. Oh man. Two more Fire Emblem characters confirmed for Fire Emblem Warriors, and we got Sakura and Elise. We already knew Elise already. And I thought we knew Sakura, but apparently not. So we got some dope characters. Also, male Corrin being announced, so more than just two, right? That's three. Doing math. Oh, okay. The two characters were male Corrin and Sakura. I wonder how they're gonna blend this all in, because we have female and male Robin, we have female and male Corrin. I wonder how they're putting the two together, unless it's based off what your male female character is. But although no, they're twins. I don't know how they're gonna introduce this. This will be interesting. But that comes out. The game comes out early in Japan, September 28th. I have the limited edition pre-ordered for US, of course. The game comes out October 20th. I might buy the Japanese version and play it early. I have zero patience. The game is only in Japanese in Japan, so I would technically be buying this game twice. Can we you guys mind if I do a full Japanese playthrough of this game? I'm sure we can figure it out. Listen, if I can figure out Knights of Azure 2 in Japanese during that Nintendo Spotlight, and I'm still playing the game and doing things right, I think we could pull off Fire Emblem Warriors. I'm just saying. I am just saying. Magio says Sakura is cool too. I like Sakura. She's very sweet. I forget who I married her off to in Fates. Or in Revelations, actually, because that's where I did all my paralogs, mostly, was Revelations. Who the heck did Sakura marry? I gotta check that. But Elise is the homie. What? Her special, if you guys catch the video, her special is insane in this game. Joe should dress up as one. Oh my god. No, please. We're 100 away already from me doing a crossplay cosplay of Link as a Gerudo from Breath of the Wild. So there's that. Oh my goodness. Let's get out of here before it gets too hot. Let's be honest, you're feeling your way through Knights of Azure. Yo, listen. Let's not judge. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, L1. For those of you who don't know what Knights of Azure 2 is, just go do a harmless Google search. It's on the Switch right now in Japan and on the PS4 in Japan. And it's coming out to us out here in the States, North America, next month, October 24th. Don't judge me. Oh, and here's the clip of that game, of all the characters actually, which I'll drop this in the description. But the game looks freaking pretty, man. I played that at Nintendo New York the week of E3. Like E3 was done, and then they still had the games up for E3. And I got to finally touch that game, and I was like, oh, so dope. I'm excited. But this one came way earlier this week. But apparently data miners have uncovered some possible future updates for Splatoon 2. So I guess spoilers, if you haven't, if you're waiting for it to be surprised. So I will give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Warning below information may contain certain possible spoilers for Splatoon 2. The first possible link is a new ranked mode, similar to Rainmaker! Sorry, New Japan people know that. That is expected to be called Rocket Mode. The file used for this begins with a V, matching up with normal ranked mode's data in that respect. A testing map of the Reef was also discovered. The mode would seem to have special weapon type objects, hence the Rainmaker comparison, and potential target rockets to damage that are scattered across the map. Parameters and states for the game mode have been found to this point. Victory rocket, state hold, state lost, victory rocket nozzle, try get frame. So these are like all the codes and stuff like that. Along with this, there's supposed to be a scrap mode known as object victory ball, which would have possibly used balloons, aqua balls, or even ink balls in some capacity. Another scrap piece is a special weapon called a bazooka, not to be confused with the ink zooka, as its internal name is referenced as the super shot. Finally, there's data pointing to octolings being implemented as playable characters some point in development. This did rounds with the original too. In the game's executable data has been found named Octoboy and Oct, with the latter now believed to be the female version. Additionally, data models of Octling hair as well as unused icon in the single-player campaign makes this more plausible. Whether or not this actually comes to fruition is anyone's guess. However, the request is certainly one of Splatoon's most popular. That is nuts, man. How the heck? Wow, and that's supposed to be the 3D models that they found. What? Yo, the way they're pulling these things, man. What? How are they pulling this? I guess with the whole kernel hack and everything, I guess that's how these guys have been getting into these games and data mining everything. This is nuts. I saw a YouTuber the other night like pulling out the camera in Breath of the Wild and like zooming it all the way up to like see the entire map and how it's like all pixelated, and then zooming in and going underneath and seeing like the water and how they created the water, and every area that there's water is just like this model of the entire area underneath being water, and that's just and then they just rise it up to make little puddles here and there if they need to, and then if they're doing like a whole river or anything, then it's nuts. It's crazy that they're being able to pull all of this off. It's insane. But who knows if this is actually going to be a full mode, or if this is going to be the situation with ARMS where like they data mined that game and they found a bunch of character names, and a lot of them just seem to be like code names or just names that they were planning on using for the characters that are now in the game. This could be very well this situation. Sorry, my mouse died, so there we go. My trackpad still works. So I'm not going to hold my breath just yet. And again, these are all just potential spoilers that this could have been a mode that was in the game. Maybe they add something similar down the road, or maybe they tried it out and it just didn't work. That's kind of cool that some of this stuff stays in here like this. Boom. Let's move on. Speaking of Splatoon 2, while we're on the topic, in Japan, there's a Splatfest going on this weekend, and Splatoon 2 asks Japanese fans to choose McNuggets or fries. Yes, this is a McDonald's Splatfest. I want to know, everybody, what team would they be on? Whew, man, I already... Little well-known fact about me outside of JoAfterWork. If I'm going to go to McDonald's, I'm going there for their french fries. I am team french fries all the way. Screw a McNugget. They can eat it. I don't want it. I want nothing to do with it. I'm all about the McDonald's french fries. Like that is what I am doing. So this is coming by way of Polygon. Japanese fans of Splatoon 2 are gearing up for another Splatfest, but this one demands they choose from McDonald's tastiest fried items. The next Splatfest, a joint promotion with McDonald's from September 19th to September 10th in Japan, requires players to choose Team French Fries or Team McNuggets. I'm loving it. Oh my god. What? Whew. Guys, let's go in on K-Bob. What's going on? K-Bob is like fries. Team fries. That's what I'm talking about. K-Bob, we're going to dominate. We're going to dominate. I wish we were in Japan to play this Splatfest. Oh, man. Joe, for your health, you can't You can't hold your breath. It's dangerous. Yo, listen, I'll take the heartburn. Not the heartburn. Jeez, the acid reflux on this one. I will take the acid reflux on this one. Oh, man. Dude. My goodness. Why does this keep freezing? Here we go. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties here. And my capture card is officially RIP, I think. Oh, wait, no. It's just my mouse. The mouse. My mouse is RIP. That's what happened, for sure. McD's fries equals crack. Yo. True story. That's what I'm talking about. Yo. My fries people, where you at? I want to know. Hit me up. Twitter, JoAfterWork. Whew. Moving on. I think that's everything for the pipeline. So can we get out? Mario, help me out. Help me out. Thank you. We're out of the pipeline. And
here we go!
To the eShop drop. That's right. Ooh, I did that one on the fly. I didn't think that was going to work. Anyway, eShop drop. We go over everything that is coming out has come out this week, actually. Tuesday, Lego Worlds came out, $29.99, which is sort of the Minecraft version of Legos, which seems really bizarre to say because Minecraft is digital Legos. Let's be honest. So Lego Worlds is just Legos. Thank you. Goodbye. Explore, discover, create together. Lego Worlds is an open environment of is an open environment. I'm gonna get to that in just a minute. Lego Worlds is an open environment of procedurally generated worlds made entirely of Lego bricks, which you can freely manipulate and dynamically populate with Lego models. Create anything you can imagine, one brick at a time, or use large-scale landscaping tools to create vast mountain ranges and dot your world with tropical islands. Drop in prefabricated structures to build and customize any world to your liking. Explore using helicopters, dragons, motorbikes, or even gorillas, and unlock treasures that enhance your gameplay. Watch your creations come to life through characters and creatures that interact with you and each other in unexpected ways. In Lego Worlds, anything is possible. Anything. By WB Games, developer TT Games. Alright, that's $29.99 on eShop. Sorry, I had to do a somber one. Another game that came out on Tuesday is RBI Baseball 17. $29.99. It's more baseball. It's RBI. For the 3DS, came out yesterday, Thursday, September 7th, sorry. $9.99. I'm gonna ruin this. Crystareino, which kind of gave me Final Fantasy VI vibes with the top-down world, but except you have characters following you as well. It's got multiple endings based on relationships with different characters. It is a turn-based RPG game for the 3DS, developed by Hit Points Co. We've seen a number of titles from them, and of course, published by Kemco. Double Dragon 4 for $6.99 on Nintendo Switch. I played a little bit of this. We're going to talk about it more in Nintendo Spotlight. I will say it is not the Double Dragon I was expecting. I was a little let down by this game. It wants to be Double Dragon 2, but it doesn't have the soul of a Double Dragon game. That'll be my summation in short. Let's move on. I think I missed a game here. We read that one. Lichtspeer. Double Speer Edition for $9.99 on Nintendo Switch. Another game we're going to be playing tonight on Nintendo Spotlight. That is by... Lich Hund is the developer. And Crunching Cowlus. Up next is Neurovoider for $13.99. This one's a twin-stick RPG game is what it's being described as, and it's got very 16-bit Super Nintendo vibes going on here, which I immediately was like, okay, we need to try this. Another game we're going to play tonight. Neurovoider is a twin-stick shooter RPG set in a cyber-futuristic world about brains shooting around evil robots with nuclear rocket launchers. Battle through the horde of vigilante robots, boost your characters with the smoking remains of your victims, and defeat the master Neurovoider to end its eternal war. Play it co-op with up to 4 friends, or go alone in an adventure of hack-and-slash rampage with a pinch of roguelite and some permadeath. Sounds dope. All right. The Bridge, another game we will try out tonight on Nintendo Spotlight for $9.99 on Nintendo Switch. MC Escher meets Isaac Newton. The Bridge is a logic puzzle game that forces you to reevaluate your preconceptions of physics and perspective. A game Joe will not be able to finish because he is terrible at puzzle games, and they make him feel really stupid and insecure and contemplate life. What is the meaning? What am I doing here? And of course, what is an eShop drop without a Neo Geo game? Blues Journey, $7.99 Nintendo Switch. Physical Contact, $20.48 Nintendo Switch, $4.99. Do we need to go into this? Physical Contact is a casual but head-minded game that aims at higher values by coalescing the same blocks in the region. A game that Joe can't wrap his brain around. Some Wii U love. We got 2 Wii U titles this week. China Warrior for $5.99. And Daytona Twinbee. Yo, if this is like Twinbee from old school, can we get a shout out to Twinbee top-down shooter? Yo. What you know about Twinbee? Come on now. And last but not least, out on the 3DS, $39.99, Monster Hunter Stories. And guys, that is your eShop drop. Now, while we're on the topic of Monster Hunter Stories, first off, now that we're out of the eShop drop,
So long, Bowser.
there we go. Sorry, I wanted that. I want to time that better. But we got a resub. We got resubs because this is the end of the show here. I'm giving you guys all the shout outs. Thank you first off, Ariel Draco, resubbing 2 months in a row. Dude, you're crazy. Thank you so much for that. Le Draco. Supper break, be back in a big says Twin World. No worries, dude. No worries. So long, Bowsy. Let's keep it clean in here, Magio. Oh, man. But I know what you mean there. Oh, man. I remember when people used to put that in, like, speed runs. I was like, oh, my God. We're going there? We're going there? Okay. Currently playing it now, Draco says. Oh, my goodness. But speaking of Monster Hunter Stories, guys, we got some unboxings right here. Bam. These are just the 2. These things are huge. I picked up on a crazy deal over on PlayAsia.com. I got these all for a $50 bundle. Every single Monster Hunter Stories amiibo. And dude, I am not lying. These are the largest amiibos that have come out aside from the Mega Yoshi. Which, shout out to Mega Yoshi. I have him here somewhere. Let me bust him out real quick. Where's that Mega Yoshi? Boom, right there. Yoshi! Yoshi! There we go. Oh my goodness. Bam. We're covering the screen. Can I even fit these all in screen? I lost one, guys. Hold up. We got this. Yeah. There we go. All 6 Monster Hunters. Now, this is going to be terrible for people watching the audio version of this. But let's do a quick unboxing of these. Break them down one by one. This is terrible. This was a terribly hilarious idea. But yo, we got to start off with the homie Dan. Dan trying to show it all right now. He got your cat, Draco. Most of these you can find on Amazon for pretty reasonable prices. There's like one, I think actually Dan for some reason ran for like $20 on Amazon, and then I sometimes found them for $18, but then PlayAsia had this crazy deal, and thank you again Nintendo Guru for pointing this out. He linked me on Twitter and told me, hey, they got a deal. It was $52, I think it was the full price, and then, you know, with shipping being imported from Japan and all that stuff, I got it just in time for Monster Hunter Worlds. I can't time that any better. I ordered this like 3 weeks ago, so the fact that it actually made it here in time for Monster Hunter Worlds. Fun fact, these amiibos are Japan only. Still, I thought they were going to release them in the US, and they did not. But these amiibos will work with the US game of Monster Hunter. In what fashion? I have zero clue, because it is all in Japanese on the back. So here we go. We got Quepeco and Dan. Let's go. Dan's the homie. Dan's the man. Yeah, let's go. Boom. Oh, man. Yo, CB Nut Troop, what's going on, baby? We unboxing Amiibos right now. You caught us at the end of the show. Here we go. I might cut this out for the audio version, but ooh, Dan looking clean right now. What? Say word. Say word. Yo, Dan. Get in that spotlight. Dude, the detail on these. Capcom. Yo, what? Oh my goodness. Up next is Leolea and Cheval. Cheval's the homie that went bad on us. He left. He got mad emo. His mama died. All that stuff. Very angry. Hates monsters. Yet he's on a rider. I don't get that. Bam. Look at the... Yo, this dude is crazy. What? Capcom! You did a good job on this. The detail. Oh, get out of here. What? It didn't break. It separates. They separate. That is dope. Dude, these are the only amiibos that separate. What? Hold up. Does Dan do the same thing? Or is... That's crazy. That's crazy. What? Stop. Stop. So we know the egg he got from the demo. Spoiler. Yo. Oh my goodness. Well, it was obvious. No? Isn't that the monster that pops out at the end of the game? No? I mean, at the end of the demo? Spoiler? Kurupeko. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Draco. I was like, I don't know how to pronounce this. CB Nutri, I missed you, baby. Oh, man. I'm glad you're here, dude. Yo, are you feeling better? That's more importantly. And then we got One-Eyed Leolas. So they both have a Leolas. Ah, okay. And Ryder, girl. Because this is supposed to be your character that you play in the game. So the Ryder is you. How philosophical is that? How do you feel about that? You're the Ryder. You're the person. This is in control of your destiny. And look at that. Even she... Oh my gosh, she's adorable. Look at her. She's like... Yeah, that? Come on now. What? Yo. Dude, let me... The light's like way too in the way right now. Light! Yeah, yeah. There we go. What? Boom. Oh my god. What? And let's see. Let me show back Dan, because Dan's the homie. Dan's the homie. Look at him. Yeah, man. I'm the homie. And then boom. This is my favorite one so far, though. This is my favorite one. Just her alone. Look at the hat. Look at the hat. She's having fun. She's having a good time. She's loving life right now. Oh my goodness. Wait, she gets a rider? Isn't this the girl? Isn't this a homegirl at the beginning that's like, I don't want to hurt people, blah blah blah. Barrios, Hyoga, and Ayuria? Isn't that the girl? No. Never mind. Let me just open this. But yeah, with the Amiibos, companies don't go directly through Nintendo. Nintendo says, hey, you have to find a person to make the Amiibos. We don't just do them. So this is nuts. They all come apart. That's amazing. So yeah, the fact that Capcom just threw out like some of the best Amiibos, dude. This is crazy. This is crazy. Look at this. Look at homie. Look at homie. Are you serious right now? And she's got like an expressionless face. Like she's like, yo, I will eat your soul, is what she's saying. And homeboy's just like, I'm hungry. I will mess somebody up. This is nuts. And then of course we got the other One-Eyed Leolas and Ryder boy. Let's open it. Why this is why Monster Hunter is bae. Le Draco is jelly. Oh man, I'm sorry, Draco. I love you, man. I'm sorry. What? Again? Is there any... Actually, his wingspan is a little bit more. That's really the only difference between the two. One-eyed left... Leolas, the one-eyed Leolas, is the wingspan is a little different. I guess because of the positioning of the characters and the way they're moving around is probably why their wings are a little bit more. Otherwise, they are the same exact... Oh, wait, no, he's got his mouth open. He's a little more furious. He's a little more furious. No, you know why? Why is that the case? Yo, my homegirl is just chilling, though. Straight chilling. That's what it's about. And, of course, Draco's favorite, Naviru. Let's go. Let's go. Kitty cat. First cat amiibo. Let's go. Get it. Naviru! Like, I'm surprised they didn't even do this for the US release. Like, come on. Capcom! Come on! Naviru. What was the voice of the game? Yeah. Well, I can't even remember the voice. I gave him like this weird, strange Brooklyn accent, but then there was like this one sound that he made. He was like, yeah. I can't even remember what it was. It'll come to me when we play the game. We're gonna play a little bit of it. Hopefully later on tonight. It's 9:12. We've gone just over an hour, like we normally do with the Afterwork show. I'll probably cut the unboxing from the audio version just because I don't want to bore people with, you know, sounds that they can't see. And let me switch this light back over here. But guys, that was the Afterwork show. That was that was that Nintendo show. Your weekly Nintendo news show. In a week in review, I can't even think. I'm still cracking up from that. If you listen to the audio version, watch the video version. We did a Monster Hunters unboxing of all these amiibos that look really, really dope. Some of the best amiibos ever made. This has been that Nintendo show for the week of September 8th, 2017. I've been your host, Joe. You can find me normally on Twitch throughout the weekend. 7 p.m. to midnight Eastern time is usually my times. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then occasionally throughout the weekday. These past couple of weeks, just because of the way schedule has been working between Ness and I haven't been able to stream on Thursdays, but that should be changing shortly, and we'll be resuming our normal schedule soon. You can find the breakouts, youtube.com/JoAfterWork. Also, everything I do is there as well after we stream. I normally do the breakouts and upload them throughout the week. We do long plays, we do Nintendo spotlights, where we showcase games on the eShop and give them their moment in the spotlight. Check it out, see if it's worth it. Shout outs to the devs, the pubs. You know what we do there. Not the PUBGs, but the pubs. Guys, I love y'all. I will see you next time. Take care. Love y'all. Did that twice.